Hello everybody and welcome. Today I get to check out a car that has been eagerly awaited by a lot of people. This is the all-new id4, the first ever fully electric SUV by Volkswagen. At Wolfsburg, things are moving fast. Shortly after Volkswagen celebrated the market launch of the ID.3, its bigger brother, the ID.4, is already waiting in line. But while the ID.3 is only for sale available in Europe, the ID.4 is set to become a true global car. And so, unlike the ID.3, the ID.4 will be built not only in Saxony, Germany, but also at VW plants in China and North America. Even before the first deliveries of the first edition, we had the opportunity to go on a test drive with the new all-electric SUV. So the first thing I noticed while driving the ID.4 is it's pleasantly silent in here. I mean, electric cars are always pretty silent, but this one seems to be especially good insulated. You don't have that much sounds coming into the inside, and considering the size of the car, it is a rather big car when you look at it from the outside, and bigger cars always tend to have better insulation, so that's good, I guess. After the ID.3, the ID.4 is the second model based on the modular eDrive system MEB by Volkswagen. And just like its smaller brother ID.3, Volkswagen is initially launching the ID.4 as a first edition, which always packs the largest 204 horsepower and 310 Nm electric motor at the rear and the larger 77 kWh battery. Versions with 148 and 170 horsepower and a smaller 52 kWh battery will follow. The electric engine of the ID.4 is located on the rear axle. We have the most powerful one in this car, and it will accelerate the car from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8.5 seconds. That doesn't sound that quick at first glance, but if you consider that the car weighs in at 2.1 tons, that's quite a nice figure. The top speed, however, is electronically limited to 160 kilometers an hour. Of course, this has been done to preserve battery range, but 160, sometimes you want to drive faster. That's a little sad. But you have to say, if you take a look at the competitors in this field, for example the e-Niro and the Kona Electric, those are limited to 167 kilometers an hour, and the Opel Corsa E will only make it to 150. So I guess in comparison 160 is still okay. But of course you have to say that there are other cars, other electric cars, that can go faster than that. For example, the Tesla Model 3 will give you between 206 and 261 kilometers an hour top speed, depending on the version you get. And the Polestar 2 by Volvo that will go past 200 kilometers an hour as well. But to be fair, the fast ones, they are around 20,000 euros more in Germany than those that I mentioned earlier. Starting price for our test car, a pretty much fully equipped First Max, starts at around 58,400 euros. The entry-level version, called ID.4 Pure, with a smaller 148 horsepower engine and 52 kWh battery, is considerably cheaper and will only set you back just under 37,000 euros. The two smaller engine versions are only available for the entry-level models, so the City and Pure versions. Apart from these two, there are 6 more different versions, and now you will of course ask yourself, why? Why are there 8 different versions of the ID.4? The reason for that is there are no options for the ID.4. So if you want a specific feature, then you need to choose a specific trim line that includes that feature. The reason for that is it is easier to build cars that are pre-configured than having to add features that the customers chose. Makes sense. Depending on the version, the id4 features matrix LED headlights or other extras such as panoramic glass roof and various assistance systems, including automatic distance control, traffic sign recognition and lane and steering assistance. When designing the exterior, VW emphasized good aerodynamics to maximize range. Thanks to recessed door handles, optimized wheel rims and a large roof spoiler, the flowy design ensures a good drag coefficient of just 0.28. The range of the id4 is either 348 kilometers or 522 kilometers if you have the bigger battery, just like us in this test car. But it of course depends on different factors. Right now we have an outside temperature of 1 degree Celsius, which is very cold, so we have the climate system heating us up on the inside. We've lost approximately 1/4 of our battery charge, and right now the car tells me we have a range of 231 kilometers. To be fair, we've driven quite a bit of start and stop in the city, which is of course where you lose most of your power, because starting from zero always requires a lot of energy, no matter if you're driving an electric vehicle or a combustion engine. A heat pump is available as an option for the id4, which heats or cools the interior with the heat coming from the electrical components and the heat from the outside air, thus reducing range loss when turning the climate control on. Of course, the id4 features the two different driving modes, D and B. B for higher recuperation. What I found surprising though is that the id does not have different levels of recuperation. So if you put it to B, you will directly have the maximum recuperation when you take your foot off the accelerator. Maybe that's not such a bad idea, because if you want to use recuperation, then why not use it to the max? So I guess that there's only the max level is okay. Time to take a look at the charging speeds of the id4. There are two different battery sizes for the id4, either 52 or 77 kilowatt hours, and we have the bigger one right here. You can charge that with up to 125 kilowatts. That means you can take a coffee break and plug in your car, and then you will have around 320 kilometers more after 30 minutes. That's quite okay, I guess. The interior of the id4 is largely the same as in the id3, with a smaller digital cockpit behind the steering wheel and a freestanding touchscreen for infotainment. However, the touchscreen in the id4 is now available with up to 12 inches instead of the 10 inches in the id3. In general, the interior looks of higher quality due to the use of less hard plastic parts compared to the smaller brother. Even though it has a pretty flat silhouette, you can already tell from the outside the car is pretty big, and you feel that in the interior. It's very spacious in here. Volkswagen claims the car is as big as a Tiguan, but as spacious as a car that is bigger. So for example, Touareg. And I have to say, you can really feel that in here. You feel free and you have these armrests. That's pretty nice and really comfortable to drive in that. Yeah. That's what I call spacious. I mean, look how much space there is for my legs, for my head. Very nice. I mean, you can just backrest here and then enjoy a relaxing drive while someone else has to keep an eye on the traffic. Very nice. Let's take a look at the trunk. Let's see. looks pretty good. Between 543 and 1575 liters, you can fit quite a lot of things in there. So the driving impression of the car, it's quite nimble, which is somewhat surprising for the weight, but not that surprising if you consider that most of the weight, or a big part of the weight, is the battery, and the battery is located in the floor, so close to the road, which makes the center of gravity pretty low, so it's no wonder it's rather nimble. The acceleration of the car is pretty good, no surprise, just as it's usual for electric cars. You always have the maximum torque, so overtaking is no problem with this car. After the successful launch of the id3, the larger id4 should also be a real sales hit. This time, however, not only in Europe, but worldwide. It offers a really spacious interior and, depending on the size of the battery, a range that makes it suitable for everyday use and long distances. However, those with a heavy foot on the gas will probably be less happy about the limited top speed of 160 km an hour to achieve these ranges. So all in all, I have to say I really like the id4, even though I'm not into SUVs usually. This one is pretty good, I think. You have quite a good range. Of course, it is not as much as Volkswagen claims. It's winter, but I guess you can go around 400 or maybe a little more kilometers without a problem. And considering that you can recharge more than 300 kilometers in just 30 minutes, that's more than okay, I think.